Guys, this is Somo. You can't see me, but today I'll be teaching you about typing in French. It's a bit tricky, but hopefully this video will sort of, shine some light on it. So the first thing you have to do is you need to go to your settings, and then time and languages, and then you will find that you can add keyboards like that. Okay, let's do it step by step. So usually you press on here, and usually you will have your English United States, or maybe some other language, maybe a second language here. There used to be Burmese for me, like I just removed it while I was testing with all the other French keyboards. So anyway, you can sort of, instead of going to the setting that, like I said earlier, you can sort of press on this and then go to more keyboard settings, and then you have to find French here, which is right next to this thing, and you press on this little drop down menu, and then language options. Here you can add all the keyboards that you like to add. Today I'll be discussing about three main French keyboards. The standard French, the AZERTY, the Swiss French one, and the Canadian French one. As you can see, the Swiss French one is a QWERTY, just like the Canadian one. And you might think that, well, I've got QWERTY because most of the English keyboards are QWERTY, right? Like the physical keyboard I've got on my desk is a QWERTY keyboard. So initially I was drawn towards these two, but let me tell you later why these two don't work, or might not work really well, and why you have to use AZERTY, the French one, even though the keys are switched. Anyway, once you've added keyboards onto this list, you can change them here on this area, around this area. So right now I've chosen the standard AZERTY French keyboard. Another thing you need is the on-screen keyboard. You have to type it in. Okay, wait, because we've chosen the French keyboard, the keys are not the same. So if you type English, make sure to use the English keyboard, right? So you type on-screen keyboard. This is built in, I think, for modern laptops. Unless you're using a very old laptop, you should be able to find it in your search menu, and then you open it, and this layout will change based on the choice that you've made here. So if you've chosen the standard French, which is the first one that we'll be seeing, you will see the French layout, okay, which is different from the English keyboard layout. Right. According to ChatGPT, these are the things that you should be able to type on your keyboard, on your French keyboard. I mean, first of all, you don't need a French keyboard. I'm using a QWERTY, typical US keyboard. So, but the layout, I've changed the layout here. So, like the keys that you press on your physical keyboard will not be according to that physical keyboard. It will be according to the new layout, which is here. So according to ChatGPT, you should be able to type all these characters, and we'll be trying with different keyboards one after another, and I'll be explaining why the French keyboard, like the standard French keyboard, is the best keyboard that you should be using. Okay, first of all, you've got all the E's here in one place, like 2, 3, 4, right? Your number 2 is the E with the acute accent, so you can type things like été, cafe, or other things, with this acute accent. The most obvious difference with your US keyboard and this French keyboard is that A and Q are swapped. So if you want to type question in English, like QUESTION, if you type it like that, it will come out as Ostion. So if you want to type question in English, okay, what happened? Wait. If you want to type question in English, you have to press on A, like, then it will come out as question. So my recommendation is whenever you type an English word, use the English layout so that you don't get mixed up between French and English, and then type all sorts of weird words whenever you're typing in English. So keep it separate. But remember, when you type in French, they are swapped. These two are swapped, and your Z and your W is swapped. Your M is right next to your L. Usually M is right next to N, right? N and M. So that is another difference. And all the full stops, all the full stop and the comma keys, they're a little bit to the right. Usually you find the full stop, they're a little bit to the left. Usually you find the full stop here, you find the comma here and the full stop here. Comma here, full stop here, and the question mark here in a US keyboard, like comma, full stop, question mark. Now the question mark will be on the question mark will be here now on the French keyboard, and the full stop will be here, and the comma will be here. So let's try typing the accents, like these characters, one by one. I hope that you can see that. You can see the screen. So we've already typed the E here. Okay, number 2. Number 3 would be your E with grave accent, and A would be here. A with the grave accent would be here, with at the place of number 1 on the key number 1. On the key for 1, for you have to choose the right alter key, which is called the Alt GR, which is the alternate graphic, which stands for alternate graphic. So you press here and then you press the U, like normal U, and you get the U with the grave accent. And for the circumflex, there you go, you can see the caret here, the caret, and you press on it and then you press the key. Okay, let me do that on my physical keyboard. So you press on the key right next to your backspace. Okay, this key, right? I'm pressing it on my keyboard, and I'm pressing Q, which means A. There you go. So whenever you do these combinations, if you're doing it on the on-screen keyboard, keep it on the on-screen keyboard. Okay, so don't choose the caret here and then press the A on the physical keyboard. It won't work. So if you're using the on-screen keyboard, use the on-screen keyboard in its entirety, and if you're using the physical keyboard, use the physical keyboard. All right. So this is for all the circumflex accents that you could be using, all the vowels that you could be using with a circumflex accent. So we've got the circumflex with an E, circumflex with an I, circumflex with an O. There you go. It works like that. And then okay, remember, caret is a dead key. Okay, the circumflex accent key is a dead key. That means that once you press on it, nothing happens. Things only happen when you press on the character, the vowel that you want to put in, like when you put in E. Okay, so usually if you press twice, you'll get only one. Okay, so if you press it once, you get nothing. So this and this, it goes in a combination. All right, they go in a combination. Okay, I've tried all the keyboards. Diareses, they don't work in the standard French keyboard. They don't work in a Canadian keyboard. They are only found in on the Swiss keyboard. but you can't use a Swiss keyboard because there are a lot of limitations on the Swiss keyboard that I'll discuss later. Like for example, you can't really capitalize the cedilla like here. On the standard French keyboard, you can capitalize the cedilla, but you can't do that on the Swiss keyboard, which is a huge limitation. The second one is you can't use the U with a grave accent, like ooh, like you can't do that. That is another downside to the Swiss keyboard, but you can do everything on the French standard keyboard, except the diareses. Diareses are these little dots that you've got on the vowels, you know, like if you want to type Noel, naive, you need all these diareses. For that, you have to remember these alt codes. Basically, you press on the Alter, okay, and then you press you type on the numlock, right? Numlock keys like Alter plus 019, Alter plus 0196. So based on the whether it's capitalized or not, you can find each diareses with you know, diareses with different vowels. Okay, so we've covered the acute accent, we've covered the grave accent, we've covered the circumflex accent. Now we've covered the diareses. You have to use the alt codes. Okay. Okay, wait. I'm trying to type this one. Usually this one is here. So usually this one is here. So this little dash or little you know, like sort of like a hyphen is 2 keys away from the enter key here. Okay, like this. Like right next to P. Like right next to P. Okay, remember to use alt codes. Right, and then the next one is cedilla. I've already taught you. You have to use the alt GR key, and there you go. You can find there. You can find 4 keys from the left shift. So here, wait, alt plus, okay, alt plus C on your keyboard. Okay, so alt plus C, very easy. Alt plus C. If you want to capitalize alt GR plus shift plus C, okay, so that would be cedilla capitalized. And when it comes to the ligature, you can find it in alt GR, everything here. Here is ONE, here is ANE. These are rarely used, and some people type them individually like ONE and ANE, but you know, you want to be accurate. Then if you want to be accurate, then you can use this French keyboard. And punctuation, yeah, it's really good that we've got the quotation marks right up there. There you go, quotation marks. They'll be in the places of brackets, I think. Yeah, usually you find brackets here, but the brackets on the French keyboards have been moved to 5 and 6. So if you want to use brackets, you just need to press 5 and 6, and you have brackets. Ellipsis is not a good thing. Like normally English ellipsis is like that, 3 dots. I usually use full stop to make 3 dots like that, but you can use the built-in ellipsis like this for the French ellipsis. It's not exactly the same. As I mentioned earlier, hyphen is here. If you press the hyphen twice, you will get a dash, or if you want M dash, I think shift plus hyphen. There you go. Okay. And full stop. Full stop is annoying, I know, because full stop is usually 2 keys from the shift keys. So something like here or here, right? Now if we move to the left, so you have to take. It'll take some time for you to get used to them, but you eventually get used to them. So it's supposed to be the M key. You press on the M key on your physical keyboard. On the French keyboard, M is here. But usually M is here on your US keyboard. So so you press the M, that is your full stop, and then right next to that would be comma. Right next to that on the right hand side of that would be comma. So question mark is somewhere here, right? Shift plus M, that is your question mark, and sorry, Shift plus M, and the exclamation mark is right next to it, so it's usually here. The exclamation mark is also different to your US keyboard, to the one on your US keyboard. And apostrophe, yeah, another good thing about this this French keyboard is that apostrophe you can find on the 8 key. So it's the normal curved apostrophe, which is the correct one for French. You can't really use the straight one, like, you know, you can use them colloquially. I think it's acceptable, but if you want to get your French right, you have to use the curved one. So this one is also included, which is very good. And I'll show you how the Canadian keyboard can't really do this, and how it is you know, tricky to get the apostrophe on the Canadian keyboard. So these are all the characters. Okay, like you can find all the euros and pounds and, you know, the bits and bots here, or, you know, with the Alt-GR key. Right. So let's go to another keyboard, and let me tell you why those keyboards are not good. Let me go to the Canadian one. Okay, one upside of the Canadian one is the QWERTY nature, right? The layout is QWERTY, so you don't really need to swap the Q&A or W and Z. They are in the same place, and your M is in the same place. It's really good, you know. Your full stops are in the same place. Your commas are in the same place. That's good. But you can't really type the and you can, like, unlike the Swiss keyboard, you can type the cedilla. You can capitalize this as well with this little cedilla key. You can see here this little cedilla key. If you press here, it's a dead key. With C, you will get a cedilla. If you want to capitalize it, this you press one time, and the Shift and the big C. Okay, wait. You press here, and then press the Shift and sorry, not this one. Press the Shift here. Press the Shift here. Okay, wait. All right, you can't capitalize either in this case. I think you can't really capitalize. You can only type it in the small form, because usually once you press the Shift key, and then if you press here, there should be the big cedilla, but the capital cedilla is not there. So there's another downside, you know. You see, you press here, press Shift here, it's not coming out. So there's a downside. Another downside would be the apostrophe. You can only use this one, which is sorry, Shift plus this comma key. Then what you will get is not really an apostrophe. It's a single quotation mark. Let me show you. What you get is a single quotation mark. See? So you have to delete this one to get your comma, which is annoying, which is not really practical, which is not something that we want, you know, because apostrophes are very common in the French language. Okay, so let's try typing all the accents with this keyboard. So you can see they've got a built-in key for this, which is right next to your Shift key on the right. There you go. Okay. For this E, you have to use the dead key, I think. So you choose the. Okay. For this, you have to use. Yeah, you have to use this key perhaps, and then E. Yeah. Okay. You have to use this key here. You don't need the Shift. You can just go straight to it. Here and A. So it's possible to type these accents, like acute accent, grave accent, and even circumflex. Like you can type it. You've got a caret here, and then E. Is it a caret or a carré? I'm not really sure, but you know, if I'm pronouncing them wrongly, forgive me, right? So is it carrot or carrot? C-R-E-T. So
Carrot.
carrot. Yeah, it's correct. It's the correct pronunciation. It's just like carrot that you have in your salad, right? Okay, so you can type the circumflex key like this. Okay, no problem. Which is the second key from your enter key. Carrot here, carrot here, carrot here. Okay, it's working. So you can do these three. And you can't do diaresis, just like the standard French one. Cedilla, you can do it with the cedilla symbol. There you go. But like, can you capitalize it? That is another big problem. Wait. I'm pressing on my physical keyboard. And no, you can't really do it, right? Can you? This is small cedilla. No, this is not the big cedilla. You can't do the cedilla thing. You can't capitalize cedilla. So it's really annoying to not be able to do that. And you know, why would you have a keyboard that can't even capitalize one of the most important characters? Like, why would you have a keyboard like that? I'm not really sure. But and also you can't really use the ligatures. I think they don't have the ligatures built in. So Canadian keyboard, although they've got a QWERTY layout, and the comma and the full stops, the comma and the full stop are in the right place, is not really useful because you can't capitalize the cedilla. In apostrophe, there is no correct apostrophe. And let's talk about the Swiss keyboard. The Swiss keyboard, you know, like you can do the same thing. Like these three, you can do it. So like they've got here, they've got E's here. Like Cafe E is here. You can type here. You can type this one as well. You can do the okay, but can you do the U? I don't think you can do the U. They're supposed to be. See, you can do the diaresis. You can do the diaresis, but you can only do it for O, A, and U, and you can't do it for I. So even for diaresis, it's not a complete thing. It's not complete. So you don't want to use this one. And you need to learn. We can't really do the U, I think. You know, you can try this one. Oh, okay, you can do the U. Okay, you can do the U, but like you can do the U and other characters using this key. But like, can you do it on your physical keyboard? That's what's the most important thing. Yeah, the thing is you can't do it on your physical keyboard. Okay, so you can do it on the on-screen keyboard. Like when I press Shift and the key next to the backspace key and U, nothing happens. But the key is there. You know, when I press on it, like it's there. But when you press once and press the U, it just doesn't work. So you can't really use the U with grave accent. You can't use the diaresis. I mean, there is something like this, and it might work on the. It doesn't even work on the on-screen keyboard. Okay, it works on the on-screen keyboard, but when you actually press on it, when you actually press here, and okay, it's working. You can use the I. Okay, you can use all the diaresis in on the Swiss keyboard, but the thing is you can't use the. You can use the U as well, but you don't have the. You can't capitalize cedilla. Cedilla is here. Okay, cedilla is here. How do you capitalize that? I don't know. And you don't have the capital version, or you know, after you've pressed the Alt GR key. So yeah, just because of that fact, it's not really useful. And all the other things like yeah, you can't type ligatures. I don't think so. You can't type type like H's. I mean apostrophe, can you type apostrophe here? Okay, it's not apostrophe. See, you can't type the apostrophe either. So there are a lot of limitations on the Swiss keyboard. When it comes to the French keyboard, there's only one problem. The only one weakness is that you can't type the diareses. You know, you have to use the all codes. So I recommend people to use the standard French keyboard. And if I missed out on, you know, other tips and tricks that you can do to make these diareses available, if you know how to assign certain keys with special characters, let me know in the comments, and you know,